CR101radio.com, podcasts, and more.
55. The Price of Salvation. There's a story about a young prince who became king and then tried earnestly to understand his duties. He had trouble, however, in making sense of economics. The more his experts explained it to him, the more confused he became. Finally, in disgust, he ordered their silence and demanded a 10-word explanation of economics. At this point, a courtier spoke up, saying, "Your Majesty, I can explain economics in 9 words. It is simply this: there is no such thing as a free lunch." Exactly so. Many of our world problems today stem from a failure to understand that there is no such thing as a free lunch. Somebody always pays for it by his work, money, or taxes. We will not solve our educational and welfare problems until we recognize this fact. But the same is true in religion. There is no such thing as free salvation. When the Bible speaks about freedom, it does not mean without cost. Rather, its meaning is usually without restraint or obligation, or else freed from slavery. Thus, when we are told in Galatians 5:1 that, "With freedom did Christ set us free," it means that without any obligation compelling him to do so, Christ of his grace freed us from the slavery of sin and death. It is a falsification of Scripture to say that it was free in the modern sense, that is, without cost or price. We are emphatically told that we are bought with a price, 1 Corinthians 6:20, 7:23. This price was the blood of Christ, 1 Peter 1:19. It was not a costless salvation, but rather the most costly one imaginable, requiring the death of the only begotten Son of God. It was a gift to us, and a very costly gift. Moreover, because we have been, quote, bought with a price, end quote, we must therefore glorify God in our body and spirit, because they have been bought by God at a fearful price, and therefore belong to him. 1 Corinthians 6:20. For this reason, the Lord, both as our Creator and our Redeemer, can command us to take up the cross of self-denial and follow him. Matthew 10:38, 16:24. There is thus no such thing as a free or costless salvation. Moreover, there can be no free or costless response to God's gift of salvation to us. We are required to thank and serve God with all our heart, mind, and being, and to give him our tithes and offerings. In our relations with other men, the principle is to give without coercion or pressure. Freely ye have received, freely give. Matthew 10:8. Freedom, in the biblical sense, is always at a price. It is a costly gift, and it requires great things of us. When men seek salvation without a cost, they find damnation, and when they seek freedom without a price, they quickly become slaves.